In this tutorial, I will explain you how we can launch an EC2 instance using AWS Console. So let's get started. First step we need to do is we need to go to aws.amazon.com and then click on sign into the console. So once you have logged into the console, here basically you can see I directly got logged in because I was logged into another browser, but you need to of course provide your credentials to log in, and then you should choose the region where you want to launch your EC2 instance. So you can choose the region which is close to you, and also note that the EC2 instance which you will launch, that will be visible only in that region, so it will not be visible in other regions. So now to launch an EC2 instance, you need to go to all services compute, and then under compute you will find EC2. Click on EC2, and it will take us to the EC2 dashboard where you can see all the details related to EC2, like are there currently any running instances in this region, or other details are there, the security groups, load balancer, elastic IPs, all related to EC2. So to launch a new instance, just go a little bit down, and here you see a button launch instance. Click on that, and then you will find another link. You can click on launch instance, and here you will see a page where we need to choose an AMI. So AMI, what is an AMI actually? So AMI is a template actually. An AMI is a template that contains the software configuration, which might be your operating system, application server, applications which are required to launch your instance. So when we are saying here that we are launching an EC2 instance, what actually we are asking AWS? We are asking AWS to give us a virtual machine, and when we are asking for a virtual machine, that machine should definitely have some hardware configurations and some software configurations, and definitely it should have operating system, and then on top of that some other softwares also if we want. So here in this step, when we say choose an Amazon machine image, what we are telling AWS that so like say I choose this image, Amazon machine Linux image, this one. So this is a Linux image, which means that if I choose this image, it will give me a EC2 instance with Linux operating system, plus there are some other tools, like the default image includes AWS command line tools, a Python, Ruby, Perl and Java. So it will give me a EC2 instance with all these installed with this image. So basically images contains all the software configurations. So I'll go ahead with this image. Also one thing you need to notice, there is this checkbox which is free tier only. So if you are using free tier account, just click on this and it will give you all the list of AMIs which are free tier eligible. And also you can see here there are images for Microsoft Windows, for Ubuntu, for Red Hat Enterprise Linux, for Amazon Linux. So you can choose the AMI which is required by you as per your requirements. And all these images are provided by AWS. So, and also you can create your images also, but we'll discuss that later, maybe in some other tutorial. But for this tutorial you just need to learn that there are images which have software configurations, and you can choose any one of these image as per your requirement. So I'm going ahead with this image currently. Next step is choose an instance type. So there are lot of instance types available, like general purpose, compute optimized, GPU, memory optimized, storage optimized. So as per your requirements you can choose instance type. Like if your application is compute heavy, you can go with the compute optimized. If your application is memory, it takes a lot of memory, you can go ahead with the memory optimized. So according to your requirement, you can choose instance type. And for this demo, I'm going ahead with the free tier eligible, which is general purpose T2 micro, which comes up with the one virtual CPU and 1 gigabyte of memory. So here, this is basically hardware configuration part of your EC2 launch. So here you are telling AWS that I want a machine which should have 1 CPU and 1 gigabyte of memory, and it should have instance storage which will be EBS type. And also you can see here there are this is show hide column. If you want, you can see other details also, like physical processor. So it will show you this column, physical processor also, and then there are some other things which you can also see, like processor architecture. It's a 64-bit, 32-bit, you can see those also, and there are a couple of more also you can see if you want. Next is configure instance details. So here also, if you can see, there are a lot of fields which we need to choose. I'll go through only the important one for now. And okay, so first one is number of instances, which basically we are telling AWS using all these configurations which we are providing, how many instances AWS should launch. If we say 1, it will launch 1 instance. If it say 2, it will launch 2 instances. So for the demo purpose, to show that we can launch more than 1 instance using same configuration, I'll put 2 here so that it will launch 2 instances. Next, network. So we need to tell AWS in which VPC. So we are in London region, and under that region we will have multiple VPCs created in our account, and in which VPC we want this EC2 instance to be launched. So I'll go ahead with the default only, and then we need to tell under each region, or under each region there will be multiple availability zones or subnets. So we need to tell under which subnet this EC2 instance should be launched. So I'll go ahead with, and you can choose any one of these. So I'll go with the 2A. And then IAM role. If you want your EC2 instance to talk to other AWS services, you need to create IAM role. Or if you want your logs to be published to CloudWatch, then you need to use the IAM role. So I'll not go ahead with the IAM role for now. Then shutdown behavior. If you launched the EC2 instance and then you gave a shutdown command, how should your EC2 instance behave, whether it should stop or whether it should terminate. So if you say stop here, it will stop. If you say terminate, then on shutting down your EC2 instance, it will terminate. So if your instance is stopped, you can still restart it again, but if it is terminated, you cannot restart it again, it's gone. Enable termination protection. That is also one of the important thing. Like if you have launched your EC2 instance from the AWS console, it's possible that someone can accidentally terminate your instance. Of course you will have access. So like you say you have a team of 5-6 developers, and someone accidentally terminate your instance. So if you want to protect against that, you can tick this tick box. Tenancy. Tenancy is like how you want your EC2 instance to be launched. I mean, whether you want, if it is shared, that means your EC2 instance will be launched on a shared hardware, which will be shared between multiple customers of AWS. And if it is a dedicated, run a dedicated instance, if you choose this option, then that means if you launch multiple EC2 instances, those can be on a shared hardware, but it will be shared only by your instances. So no other AWS customer will share that hardware. And if you say dedicated host, that means this EC2 instance which we are going to launch will run on a dedicated physical server. So as per your requirement, you can choose the tenancy. I'll go ahead with the shared one only. Next we will need to go ahead with the add storage. So this basically is like telling AWS how much hard disk I want. So we have already told hardware configuration part, like how much RAM I want, how many virtual CPUs I want, and also we told operating system and what softwares we want. And now we are telling the hard disk part, like which here you can see, like this is for the root volume, and you have these options. You can choose any one of these type of volumes for your hard disk, and you will get 8 gigabytes of hard disk. And then delete on termination is ticked, which means that this EBS volume, this storage, this hard disk, this will be deleted if you terminate your EC2 instance. If you untick it, then it will not be deleted. By default encryption is not there, which means your data on this EBS volume will not be encrypted. You can add additional volumes also if you want, and there are more types available, volume types available here for additional volumes, but for root volume you have to choose from these three. I'll not go ahead with the additional volumes for this tutorial. Next is add tags. You can give some add some information about your EC2 instance to recognize it better. Like I'll give name is dev server, and then I'll say next, which is configure security group. Security group is like who can access your EC2 instance. So here if you see the type, there are various types. So the rule here is saying that give access to your machine from anywhere on internet can access your machine using SSH. This is not an ideal situation, but yeah, for this demo I'll go ahead with this. If you want, you can add more rules, like you can say HTTP, give HTTP access to your machine on port 80 from anywhere on the internet, and so on. You can add a lot of rules as per your requirement. So I'll go ahead with the basic rule only, and then I'll say review and launch, and then I'll say launch. And here it will ask for downloading a key pair which is used for logging into your AWS EC2 instance. So you need to give some name, like I'll say just EC2 key pair, and I'll say download, and then I'll say launch instances. So it says your instances are now launching. Now go to view instances, and you can see here it has started launching 2 instances, because we mentioned that number of instances is 2, which means it should launch 2 instances using the configuration which we provided. So current state is pending. In couple of minutes it should be running. Let's refresh it and see. Yeah, so it's up and running. The 2 servers, which we 2 EC2 instances are up and running now, and we have launched EC2 instances successfully using AWS Console. And I think that is all I wanted to show in this tutorial. And other thing I wanted to tell is I have a blog also, javasolutionsguide.blogspot.com. so you can refer this tutorial on my blog also, if you like reading. So you can go here to AWS, and then if you scroll a little bit down, and you can find this article here, and here you have, I have provided all the screenshots and all the details which we discussed, so you can read this also if you want. So that's all for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like the tutorial, please don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the like button. Thank you so much. See you in the next tutorial.